and welcome back to Mining Networks. I'm joined with Tara Christie, who is CEO of Banyan Gold. So it's great to have you back, Tara.
Great to see you again.
So let's just start. For those not familiar with Banyan, let's just have a nice brief overview. I know we touched on it back at the Precious Metals Summit in Zurich in November last year, but just a nice little update for anyone who's new to the story.
Sure. So Banyan's advancing our AurMac Gold Project. We are right beside Victoria Gold's Eagle Mine and Hecla's Keno Hill Silver. So a very highly mineralized district with two mines beside us. We have a 4 million ounce inferred resource at 0.6 with power line strip ratio of 0.34 to 1. So this is a very low strip ratio, large deposit. Since we put out that resource in 2020, we've since drilled another, or 2022, we've since drilled another 50,000 meters towards a resource update due mid-year this year. Really exciting news flow from us. We still have drill results from last year. We're going to start drilling here at the beginning of March with 3 drills, aggressively continuing to expand this, as well as looking for some of those high-grade areas. We're well-financed with over $19 million in the bank at the start of the year. So lots of excitement for Banyan shareholders. And with the price of gold at $1,900, I think it's going to be a really different market out there.
Definitely. So let's touch on that financing. So late last year, you raised quite a lot of money. So talk me through that. Give me a little bit of an overview of your capital structure, just as it's obviously changed since we last spoke. And then let's jump into how you're going to allocate those funds and where that money's going.
Great question. That financing in December really was because we were approached by an investor wanting to make an investment in Banyan of a significant amount. We've been in discussions with this shareholder, and they are known to the mining industry. They're good long-holding shareholders, so we were really flattered with that. So, that financing, there were just 3 participants, 2 existing shareholders, one of which is Franklin, which we have 9.8%, and this new shareholder, and then one of my other large shareholders. So, it really was an opportunity, and we are so pleased to have such good shareholders. It really has changed our shareholder base. If you look at our new shareholdings and who's there, we now have 48% institutional and high net worth investors. So that's a pretty significant number. Victoria Gold at 11.4 and a Cisco at 4%. Myself, I'm around 4% still. I didn't participate in that last financing just because it was difficult. But remember, in the last 2 years, I've put in over 1.2 million. So I'm very significantly invested with my shareholders. And then just 30% retail. So that's a pretty big change in the dynamic of our shareholder base in the last years. Remember when I became CEO in 2016, the company had originally had a different purpose. So it's been quite a journey to get really good shareholders in. And I think it's a testament to the fact that we've acquired a good asset. We've been using our shareholders' dollars really well. And so what are we going to use that money for? So we went into 2023 here with $19 million, which is great. We've planned a phase 1 program of drilling and metallurgy, baseline environmental and geotechnical work, which we're going to start drilling with 3 drills here in March. Our team's already planning. We've got people hired. We'll mobilize in mid-February. So that's very exciting. With that, we'll spend about half of the money we have in our bank, which gives us optionality for this year, which I think is really important in these uncertain times, as well as really getting the most value. We're waiting for our results from last year before we finalize even where we're going to start drilling. And then once we get that resource update out in mid-year, I think that'll be a super important catalyst for us. And we'll have the ability to upscale. But that'll put us, we could go into 2024 with $8 million, or we can spend a bit more of that money this year and advance AurMac. So we'll have more news flow on our exact plans as we start this exploration season. But we're going to deliver value. We're pretty focused on that.
Definitely, that's really exciting stuff. So let's jump into that drill program a bit more. Let's talk about the new results. You've had quite a lot of positive results come flooding in just in January 23, and I'm sure there's many more to come. So from those 37 holes, talk me through those results and what they mean.
Well, we're seeing that, we're on track. We said that we wanted to get this to be a tier 1 asset, plus 5 million ounces, and targeting a resource update in the 6 to 8 million ounce range, because that's where, you want to be as a tier 1 asset. We're seeing this deposit is amazingly consistent. We're seeing the same trends, and we do see a couple higher grade trends, one to the north, one to the south in the data. which is exciting, but it's remarkably consistent. And then the hole in this morning's press release, that's a 2-kilometer step out from Aurex Hill. So now we've demonstrated mineralization over 5 kilometers. And we've seen, over the existing 3 and a bit kilometers that we've drilled out of the grid pattern, that it's remarkably consistent. And what we see in that 2-kilometer hole is also showing that it's likely continuous over that next 2 kilometers. So remember, the power line resource has 3 million ounces and it has an east-west strike of about 1.2 kilometers. So 5 kilometers of strike really shows that there's lots of potential here to continue to grow this, and that it's still going strong to the east. So, absolutely, when we start drilling this spring, you'll see us step out further to the east and follow up on that great hole. We know this deposit's open east-west at depth, north-south still. There's lots of targets, which actually makes it difficult. You got to decide where to drill. And it's not only the best targets for higher grade, it's where you're going to add the most ounces. Where is it best to drill in winter versus summer? So there's a lot of different variables going into our drill planning, and we're having some great debate amongst our team. We've brought in some new ideas, as well as our old ones, which are working well. And I think that will really serve our shareholders well this year.
Definitely. I mean, it's a nice position to be in, that you've got too much choice at the minute of amazing targets to pick from. So talk me through how those results the results so far have kind of affected that exploration program going forward.
Well, they've definitely encouraged us to continue to go east. We've got some more to the west as well. And we're still waiting for the southern holes of Aurex Hill, which we're also pretty interested in. We see another trend through that area. So before we finalize our program, we want to make sure we get those results and see what we're seeing there. We've done a bunch of work internally looking at geochemical ratios, like the gold bismuth ratios across the property, looking for heat flow directions, understanding some of the structure, going back and looking at the LiDAR, correlating it with what we're seeing in the geophysics. Every time you get more results, it adds to your database and it helps you look at things from a bit different perspective and gives you more information. So that's been an exciting process for us. And I think we can see lots of growth potential.
So talk me through, obviously you're next to some significant neighbours. So with Hecla Mining and Victoria Gold, have they had any recent news releases that, are positive for Banyan?
Absolutely. The Victoria Gold releasing that new resource, the 1.7 grams, 1.1 million ounces. You can stand at our Thompson Creek camp and look up on the hill when it's dark and see the lights of those drills. So, that is right close to us. It's a district, what Victoria Gold has found. I think we're going to see more exciting results from their exploration out there. Plus, the best part is the mine starting to run. The building a mine through COVID, I can only imagine how difficult that was. And with the labor shortages and supply chain on top of just the general difficulty of running a mine, seeing that succeed, and the better they do, the better it is for the whole district and everyone in it. Hecla moving in, that's really positive. They'll finally have the money and the expertise to invest in Alexco. They've been great neighbors so far. We were collaborative with Alexco on sharing resources, people, even information. They know so much about the geology of this area. It's a great collaboration between Victoria Gold, Hecla, and ourselves. But eventually there might be some competition, because obviously both of those are miners and we're explorers, and we're building a very big resource right next to them both. So a little bit of competitive tension is always good. But I think it also brings credibility to this district. That's a Hecla investing. That's a vote for the jurisdiction, for permitting, for geology. That's a long-term investment.
And along with having all of you in the area, could you just remind the viewers on the infrastructure side of things?
Absolutely. Our property has that huge advantage of a road through it, the main highway, all-weather road out to Victoria Gold. The power line goes right to the hydroelectric dam that's just 50 kilometers away. It's only energized to half of the capacity that the power line was built to. There's room for another mine on it. That's all very exciting. We even have cell phone service and fiber optic cable. So, that is a huge advantage when you look at infrastructure. Also, our topography, really moderate. You've been there, it's rolling hills, and that's partly why it's been a little bit harder for us to target. We don't have big outcropping rocks and we can't see the veins. But it does mean it's a little bit better for building a mine, because you've got less topography to have to deal with. And those are a huge advantage. They're also what let us operate such long seasons. Last year, we started drilling January 26th. We're taking a little bit longer this year to fix our equipment, give our people a bit more of a break, and get our results back so we can target. But again, if you can drill January to December, that's a huge advantage. There's not a lot of Yukon projects that can do that. Safety becomes an issue, but because we've got that highway and great communications, it's a huge advantage for this project to be able to be advanced by us and potentially others in future. So
definitely. So you've got an exciting year ahead with results coming out and all of the drills turning. But talk me through kind of the next few years. What's the timeline here with permitting, that sort of thing?
So those are great questions because that's exactly where we're turning our mind. We're no longer just an exploration story. We have to start thinking about that transition to a development story. So that's part of our conversations this year. This resource will be a huge milestone for us. And then we do have to do a PEA by December of 2025. So we are already starting the key components of that, looking at the geotechnical work. We've expanded our baseline environmental data. We're going to do a gap analysis. We had the advantage of being able to get all of Alexco's data, and they've been collecting data for 20 plus years. From that combined with the federal government along with Victoria Gold. So, we've already got a really good start on the baseline information required for permitting. We know what the permitting process is. So we certainly, when we're ready to say go, we're going to have that piece in line. And then, of course, we're still looking at, okay, where would the starter pit areas be? And our results are going to help us with that and some of the drilling that we do early this year. We've also got that prep lab which is now running. Really excited about that because that's going to reduce our timelines very significantly. So, it'll be about a month and a half. We're going to get results back on our drill holes, which will enable us targeting in season and people waiting 6 months for drill results to find out whether it was positive or negative, and meanwhile having to drill other holes. Huge advantage for us. So really exciting year for us. We are also looking to expand our team, bring in the right people that are going to help us make this into an economic project and have all the pieces in place for that. So we're definitely pushing our team and building our team. And I think that's it's actually really fun. And when you're a builder, this part of it and it is exciting. Sometimes you get in the routine of just more drilling and more drilling. But to be in this really exciting threshold, I don't know, it gets me up in the morning, and it's certainly, I'm pretty driven. This is an exciting time for us, and gold price is helping too. $1,900, fabulous. Could be a great year.
Definitely. Well, Tara, thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to following along with this. I always do. So yeah, look forward to the next update.
Look forward, and hopefully we get you back up to site so you can see how much the project is advanced.
Definitely. Let's arrange it.